Hi Bernhard, and hello to everyone watching. Today we've got some news to share, so let's jump right in. As you all know, the Blocktrade Securities offering Part 1 is in full swing. So we want to know, what's the current status? And maybe you can even share some numbers.
Hi, Annika, and thanks for having me. And of course, also a hello to all of our viewers. And indeed, I'd love to share some numbers with you. So as I've mentioned in a past video, the start of our securities offering was absolutely overwhelming. And the numbers showed no sign of slowing down whatsoever. And so to share some numbers, after having roughly 5,700 potential investors KYC'd in just a few weeks, already 3/4 of them have subscribed and the base is still steadily growing. And by now, we have also overshot the expected investments for Part 1 by almost 30%. That is 30% more than we expected Part 1 to bring in general. And we're not even done yet with Part 1, as you know. We are absolutely on a win streak right now. And from today's perspective, there is a real potential that we are going to sell out in March.
So those are really good news. Congratulations from my side also. So everything you just said sounds really promising. But were there any challenges that you experienced along the way?
There absolutely were, as is to be expected in an ambitious project like ours is. And I would like to address some of them. So some individuals are reporting problems that the money transfer for subscribed securities does not really work as they expected to. And as we found out, there are some limitations for brokers to accept some transactions due to particular restrictions in some national regulations that we are working with. And we are working on a solution together with our brokerage advisors and partners. And we are hoping to present that solution to you within the coming days.
Okay, so I see Blocktrade is already working on solutions here, but is there anything investors could do to speed the process up?
Indeed, there are a couple of steps that we suggest you try if anything doesn't work as expected. And the first step is, and I'm sure most of you have already done this, to double check and triple check your transaction details. If there's just a wrong number in it, that's an easy thing to fix. And so we'd appreciate that. Then you can check your bank account and see if the payment is actually being processed. Because if it is not, the next step would be to contact your bank and ask them to check if everything is working correctly and if there's any potential for you or the bank to speed up the transaction. And if then, for whatever reason, they're telling you that they had to block the transaction, you can tell them that you have received a prospectus, which is for an approved securities offering, and you can also give that prospectus to the bank so they can have a look into it and see that we are an actual regulated securities offering. And if that doesn't solve the problem, please contact our support. We're in frequent contact with a lot of banks. Usually we can get this problem solved within a couple of hours or a couple of days at max. So just contact our support if something comes out that you can fix yourself.
Okay, thanks a lot for those insights. I'm sure those tips are appreciated. Earlier, you mentioned that Blocktrade is also working on solutions. Maybe you can give us a bit more details what exactly that means.
Yes, so regarding the limitations above, as soon as we have solved those for all investors participating, we will create an even larger pool of potential investors. And in our estimation, that might actually be plus 20% that we're speaking of. And we're now reviewing the current brokerage and will try to upgrade the partner pool in that regard. And if we can do that, that will of course strengthen the whole case and will place the risk on a broader base, and therefore make the whole project more stable during the first year and the years to come after.
So the securities offering might even get better. How would that potential change impact the timeline of the securities offering?
As you know, as of now, we expect the Part 1 to end on the 29th of January 2021. And if we find a solution to the hurdles mentioned above, we will consider all eligible investors to invest normally in Part 2, where also everyone can increase their investment that they made in Part 1. Additionally, we are discussing an option that priority points can be used also in Part 2 together with Elite Club right now. With my team, I'm working very hard to have a solution within the next couple of days. And the most important thing to us is that all investors have the same chance to invest. So if this means that we have to open up Part 2 for investors that have not invested in Part 1 because of their banks or any other kind of factor, we will try to find a solution to do so. And eventually some investors might have to go undergo a new onboarding structure or procedure in order to take part or renew their subscriptions, but we will communicate that transparently to you as soon as we can.
Okay, thanks for those updates. So you mentioned a lot of details about part 2 of the securities offering. Will it also change the timeline of the offering in general, because part 2 is now currently estimated to start in March, right?
Currently, that is what we're estimating. That's correct. And these procedure changes would not necessarily change the timing of other phases, like the consolidation phase or the part 2. And we will try to limit consequences to part 1 to stay within the general timeline of the securities offering. However, as soon as anything changes, you will be the first to know.
So Blocktrade is really putting a lot of effort in creating the best conditions for everyone. I'm glad to hear that. So I heard that there are some misleading information published on the internet that you currently have to deal with. Can you tell us a bit more about that and how you're handling that?
Yes, there is one important notice that I would really like to get out there. Annika, as you said, we took tremendous efforts to make the securities offering as transparent and legally perfect as possible. And we're still learning, of course, to this day along the way. And we appreciate all the feedback that we receive from your side, because that improves your experience and your outcome in the end. In recent days, however, we received requests from partner banks, media partners, and industry contacts regarding misleading and false information that got spread from third parties and even single persons as well. So if you know anyone who is involved in perpetuating that kind of information in private emails, on forums, on social media, or any other kind of platform, please forward them this message. Then please inform our legal team under the email address sto@blocktrade.com. If you get that kind of information from whatever alleged source, be it a bank, a lawyer, a network contact, please forward it to our IT team as well, so we can prove the real sender also under the same email address sto@blocktrade.com. Thank you for putting your trust in us, and please check your sources.
Thanks a lot for this very important message. So I really hope that things will clear up. I'm already at the end of my questions, so thanks a lot, Bernhard, for taking the time. I wish you, the whole Blocktrade team, and of course, every single investor, a successful securities offering.
Thank you for having me, Annika.